And I am live again. This is only like the third or fourth time. Although I'm looking slow again. I don't know what happened. Um, I'm determined to try to get the stream going. I've been playing with all the software settings on StreamYard, and just before I click go live, um, everything was looking pretty good. It looks a little slow. It looks a little laggy now, but not so bad. But fingers crossed. Like I'm like there was a beta function which I had turned off. I turned that on. That seemed to make an improvement. Some beta. Fuck, I don't even know what the fuck it was. But it's like if you don't, it's that seems to be the key. Because I was trying like every setting. Anyway, it's Sunday night. Last night I went to Boston. I didn't intend to go to Boston. They said go to Danvers, Massachusetts. I said Danvers, Massachusetts. I've never been there. I said, I don't want to go to some like small regional airport, and it's going to be closed by the time I get there. This was 5:30 yesterday afternoon, and they said, no, they're open till midnight. Don't worry. So I go, I get the piece. What happens? I get to Danvers at 10:30 at night, and sure as the fucking sun rises in the east, they are closed. So so much for open till midnight. Anyway, but luckily I only had to go like 20 miles to drop the piece off to our new Boston agent who's right near Logan Airport, which that went well because I approached it from a different way than I normally approach that location. But it went poorly because the fire department closed the bridge uh, that gets me back to the fucking highway, and I ended up there's like 1,000 little bridges, and if you ever drive around Boston, there's all these little waterways and all these little bridges over these fucking waterways. And so I tell whatever like Google Maps to get me home, and it's leading me on some fucking crazy like 300-mile route, and I'm driving through these side streets of Boston, and I pass like a little bridge. I'm like, why couldn't I go over that bridge? Like I had to go left over a bridge. And I'm like, well, why couldn't I? I was like, fuck it. I said, next little bridge I see, I'm just gonna turn left and go over. Which I did, and everything eventually worked out. I had to go through the wrong tunnel and make a U-turn and then go whatever. But by being determined to fucking get home, I got home, and that's what I have to do with the show. I have to be fucking determined to do a fucking crappy live stream, despite the fact that the software doesn't want to work. And then StreamYard's doing some kind of upgrades, and they're not. It's not exactly clear which button I need to click. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, and to make it work. But we're gonna fucking make it work anyway. We're gonna make it work anyway because life is filled with challenges, and you have to overcome challenges. You must overcome challenges, and that's what we're gonna do. That's what we are going to do, despite the best efforts of shitty software engineers to ruin my bed, my day. They're not ruining my day. So here it is. First screen share. It worked. Oh, thank God it worked. China to allow launch of crypto stablecoin. I was saying last week that governments fear other governments. And so now what it looks like we're going to have for the foreseeable future is a battle of the government shitcoins. The U.S. Dollar stablecoin versus whatever the fuck the Chinese call their stablecoin. And that's going to be the battle, nation state versus nation state, and to see who wins. And one of the things I meant to say a couple of times earlier was that I'm not aware of any time in history where like empires have risen and fallen and they've been conquered by other empires, but I don't think there's never been any. The elites are always fucking at the core of fucking shit up. But I don't think they ever outsourced all of their most critical things. Like the Roman Empire didn't, they didn't outsource making their chariots to fucking Carthage. You know what I mean? They didn't say, hey, let's, they build really cheap chariots in Egypt. Why don't we have our chariots made in Egypt? That way we'll make a bigger profit when we sell them to the Roman army. They didn't really use chariots, but never mind. You get the point, right? They're like, these fucking Roman spear makers, they want too much fucking money. We get these guys in Albania, they make spears real cheap. We can get 10 for the price of one. I don't think they did that. Like they didn't the critical things that the empire needed to continue functioning, they kept because you had to do it. You couldn't outsource the growing of food, although you could move food back and forth. And like Egypt exported a lot of wheat and stuff like that. The famous cedars of Lebanon, and blah 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 blah. Cyprus had copper. Britain had tin. Together they made bronze. So all the stuff. There was trade, but no regime ever thought of it. Let's outsource everything, like the American regime did to China. And now China is kind of kicking our ass in a lot of ways. I mean, I hate to sound like a Chinese cheerleader, but and I can only go by the stuff I'm seeing in social media. I've never been to China, although I would go to Shanghai in the blink of an eye. A couple of the places I might visit there, but particularly Shanghai interests me. Is it everything that they claim it is? Probably not. But is it everything that the anti-China propaganda claims it is? Certainly not. So that's super interesting to see how that's going to play out. But USD stablecoin versus the digital yuan or whatever the fuck they call it, nation states fear other nation states, and that's a good thing because every nation state is run by a central bank, and all central banks are run by the Rothschilds, the central bank of central banks. This is Max Kaiser. He's a Wall Street guy who was buying Bitcoin when it was $1 per Bitcoin. No shit. He was a rich dude buying it when it was $1 per Bitcoin, and he once gave a laptop with. Listen to this. This is not a joke. This is legit. He once gave a laptop computer to Alex Jones, the meth smoking tranny banker, with 50,000 bitcoins. 50,000 bitcoins, which today would be something like $50 billion. Of course, Alex Jones lost the laptop, probably in some gay sex encounter somewhere, and that's that. And Max Kaiser never gave another Bitcoin away ever again. Just because these guys figured out early, just because they get in early and they're smart in some ways, doesn't mean they don't do really stupid shit other ways. People like me, you can come up to me and say, listen, here's why you're a jerk, here's why you're wrong, blah, 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 blah. And the people lower down in the social strata, you get accustomed to that level of criticism. You get accustomed to people pointing out your mistakes and flaws. But when you're at the elite level, nobody says a bad word to you. There's like no bad words ever said. No one says, oh, by the way, asshole, you think you're so smart, here's how you fucked up. If you say that, you are booted from Mount Olympus. You are booted from paradise. You are cast out forever from the elite circles. You do not point out that these people aren't everything that's advertised on the tin, as the English say. They're not everything they're advertised as. However, it's your job to deal with your own mistakes, overcome your own mistakes, and make the best outcome for the future. That's why I advocate treating your government money for Bitcoin. When Max Kaiser, who says a lot of stupid shit, oh, Bitcoin was envisioned as a central bank killer, he's right. I mean, when this is the original headline that was included in the very first block of the Bitcoin blockchain. And when you sit there and think about why would Satoshi Nakamoto include this message in the very first block of the blockchain, the very first Bitcoin transactions. Why this message? And if you look at this message, which apparently you can get a beer for 99 pence. I don't know what kind of beer it is. It's probably well, 99 pence in 2008, probably like $8 today. Just noticed that. But seriously, this is not one of those bumper stickers that says coexist. This is a declaration of war. This is you know, I don't know, waving the bloody shirt. This is a call to action. This is not let's sit together and sing kumbaya. It just isn't, right? And that's oftentimes overlooked. A lot of the people that got in early, like Max Kaiser and others, made a squillion, gajillion dollars. They have unthinkable money, ridiculous wealth, and so they act like total fucking fools, and no one calls them on it because you don't. A super rich fool, you do not point out their foolishness because you will not share in any of those riches in any way, shape, or form. That's just the way it is. That's the way it always is. There's thin-skinned and very weak. They happen to be in the right place at the right time with the right resources, and so they benefited. And listen, some people get lucky in life. That's just the way it is. Some people are tall and athletic. Some people are musical. You know, some people are born into the right family. This is a reality and will stay a reality forever. But whatever deficits you were born with or obstacles you have to overcome, you have to overcome. And some of it's insanely unfair, some of it's monstrously fucking evil, but you still have to do that because no one outside of you can do that for you. But in doing that, it will fucking change you. And it will absolutely change you. And remember that no one is better than their incentives. I saw this was posted as some kind of like outrage porn by the Zionists. And this rather pudgy looking dude was a high profile Israeli spy who gave the Mossad the names of nuclear scientists who were recently killed in the war. So this was probably the guy leaking the details of the Iranian nuclear guys who are not. Listen, Iran is not building a bomb. They're too smart to try and do that. They know that attempting to do that is really going to fucking hurt them. Get them into a war with the U.S. that they can't win. But they did catch the guy, and they killed him. Now, do you think this guy didn't know that, you know, he could be killed by the Iranian regime? He did, but no one is better than their incentives. That's a lesson you need to repeat yourself over and over again. No human being is better, is more moral, than their incentives. If they're incentivized to gain material wealth or some other thing that they desire that they cannot easily get for themselves, someone outside them offers them that thing and convinces them, don't worry, there won't be any negative consequences, they're going to go for it. You know what I mean? If someone showed up at your door tonight with 2 fucking suitcases full of $100 bills and said, all you need to do is go on social media and post, I love Israel and Israel's the best, and you would do it. You would do it. You wouldn't say, get out of here with your 2 suitcases full of $100 bills. Fuck you, I won't do it. You'd go, well, you know, nobody's going to know, right? And they'll be like, trust us. Nobody's going to know. Just take the suitcases and hop on your fucking computer and shill for Israel. And you fucking do it. You're not better than them. You can sit there and say, oh, no, I would never do that. And you do that because the temptation is not there. There's no incentive. No one's putting it in front of you, right? To pretend that you have some enormous moral fucking power when you have literally never been put in a position of temptation is fucking ridiculous. That's you. That's more of your gay communist faggotry that, you know, where you imagine you're some sort of fucking superhero, and you're not. No human being is. And expecting other people to be better than their incentives is a recipe for profound profound disappointment. Profound disappointment. All right, let's see this fucking thing. Oh, it's moving. Oh, it's moving. I'm just checking a few things. Just checking a few fucking things. I don't want this thing to freeze up on me. And so, anyway, it's all fucking total chaos tonight, like every other night. So let's. The reality is, though, and this is why we Bitcoin, is that I believe that sovereignty is coming. That there will come a time where fuck you or fuck you pay me is the only thing you're going to hear from. That the political fairy tales that you tell yourself, the ones that your favorite, you think this one's great, you think that one's great, whatever dumb shit you fucking think gets people out of bed in the morning. And nothing gets people out of bed in the morning other than I need to make a living. Okay? That's the only thing that gets people out of bed for a living from the age of 16 to fucking 65. Or maybe long, or these days, longer. No one gives a fuck about your fucking fairy tales. Literally, no one cares. And you can cry all you want about that, but if you want whatever world you think you want to see, understand that shit is really fucking expensive, and you're not going to do any of it. You think you're going to sit there and you're going to unity call and you're going to red pill, and someone else is going to go fucking deport the aliens. Someone's going to fill the potholes in fucking 100-degree weather. You think someone else is going to clean the fucking toilets and fucking and weld the fucking skyscrapers and fix the fucking cars and unload the ships and do all this miserable fucking horrible shit to do fucking cut people open and take out their cancers and do brain surgery and all the fucking rest, do dentistry when people have a fucking mouthful of rotten fucking cavities. You think everyone else is going to do that? I'll sit here, right here in my global command post, and I will unity call, and you do all the hard work. You do everything that's dangerous, scary, and sucky, and I will take all the credit. That's what you really think is going to happen. That's not what's going to happen. There's going to be fucking snow that needs to be removed from fucking roads. There's going to be whatever. Think of all disaster relief shit. Think of all the miserable grinding things that have to be done every fucking day to keep your water clean, to keep the electricity on. You're not doing any of that shit, and you think you're going to take credit like there's going to be a parade and you're going to be leading the parade for all the dumb cunts who actually had to do the hard work. That time is ended. That because none of those people are sovereign. And when sovereignty comes, and Bitcoin brings sovereignty, ultimately people going, oh shit, I wish, oh man, if I would have known about Bitcoin in 2011, I would have done this, I would have done that. Probably you wouldn't. But even if you did, once you made 10 times your money, you would have sold anyway. Until you understand that the fiat world, the world of central banking, is the problem. It has existed for hundreds of years before you were born, and fingers crossed, we're nearing the end. We're nearing the final fucking battle, because the ability for central bankers to find individuals who are willing to sell out their country, sell out their culture, sell out their religion, whatever, whether it's a Buddhist monk, it doesn't fucking matter what it is. As long as that incentive is there and those central bankers control those incentives, they essentially control the world. And when that ends, that's when human flourishing is really going to happen. And what that's going to look like, I don't know, because I probably lived that long. But I do work towards a day when no one will work for it. No man or no woman will do any labor or produce any goods for a currency that another man can print for free. Like, that's what I work for. That world is the world that I dream about and that I want to see manifest, right? I want to see it come to life. Like I said, I don't know, I'm probably not going to live that long, but that's what I'm doing. What you're doing is you're telling yourself political fairy tales about bullshit, and you're looking at the wrong things and paying attention to the wrong things and coming to the wrong conclusions. However, what do we got? There's still people out there. Where am I going to go with this? It's chaotic, but we're going to go with it. Let's fly off to the land of smiles. Thailand, the land of smiles, where my buffalo's sick. You ever hear that meme? There's a meme called My Buffalo's Sick, where it's like a hooker from Thailand with her, like some John or some fucking loser on the other end of the phone, and it's like a Thai hooker, and she says, I cannot see you now. I must work hard now. I work hard for my family, my cow and my buffalo sick. If you send me money, I can come see you tonight because about my buffalo sick. So that's Thailand. That's, it's a hooker scam. If you know, you know. But it's a pretty country, and a lot of people go there as sex tourists. Thailand puts up with a lot of shit, but there's some shit they just don't put up. And particularly, they're looking to ban Israeli tourists from Phuket Beach. This is a super popular beach. You see a picture of it there at the bottom. It looks like a fucking movie set. And they're done with the fucking Israeli tourists. The Israeli tourists are obviously going there as sex tourists, and that's not unusual for the culture of Thailand to make money off that. But they are done with the fucking Israelis. Not really well known that Thailand was, I think, the number 2 or number 3 country for terrorism from Islamists, supposedly. But this was like from the, I would say, from the 80s to the 2000s, because in Thailand, that's where they would do a lot of the polishing of diamonds and setting it into stones. So you had the diamond trade from Africa, where you had Jews paying Africans pennies to dig pennies per day to dig diamonds out of the ground, shipping them to Thailand, where the Asians were paid pennies per hour to cut, polish, and set them, and then sold in Western Europe and America for like a 3 million % markup. And because of that trade, there was all sorts of what was supposedly Islamic terrorism, but I'm thinking it was just a natural reaction to how people deal with them. And why? Why is that? Because they do stuff that people don't like. This is one of my favorite stories. Israel evacuates entire embassy staff from Athens embassy due to mounting anti-genocide, pro-Palestinian protests in Greece. Yeah, it's more than just a couple of cruise ships. It's more than just waving some flags at cruise ships. They're not gonna lie. I'm proud of those people. I am proud of those people. Good for them. This is what everybody hates, right? And then look, I grabbed this obviously from their own sources. The Times of Israel. Israel is the gayest country on earth. No shit. Is it because the first religious act of Judaism is an act of pedophilia? Do you think those two things might be connected in some way? And then what's this one? Jerusalem Post. Is Tel Aviv the gay capital of the world? I don't know if it is or it isn't. Yes, it is. But yeah, the more Iranian hypersonic missiles that hit that city, the better. The better. So, and that's why people hate them. That's really why people hate them. So and their Shabos, the little Shabos friends. The little Shabos friends are in trouble. Get so much stuff. So much stuff. All right, well, let's do the video. This is the evacuate the embassy story, but with video and classical music in the background. Bravo, boys. Bravo. Boys and girls. Bravo. So yes, with the violin music in the background makes it sound so much better. The Butcher of Gaza ran to Athens, and Athens spit them back out, and is now spitting out the entire Israeli embassy. Will there be consequences for that? Of course there will. Will Israel train migrants to become terrorists? Yes, they fucking will. But for the moment, let's enjoy the first Western nation to kick the Israeli embassy out of fucking Israel, out of their country. Good for them. Good for you, boys. You've done very well. However, where's my man's? Oh no, fuck. It was going so well. It was just going so well. Why won't this thing move now? Oh, the pain, the emotional pain I'm feeling. If I'm just patient, what if I was like really patient? What if I was patient and said, "Hey, Virtual Doc Purple Heart, welcome to the show, sir." And I reminded people this fucking disaster, fourth attempt at a fucking stream in one night to smash up the like button. And I know what you're saying. This is the worst fucking stream I've ever seen in my life. Yes, that's probably true, but you smash up the like button. You do it anyway. You know what I mean? It doesn't not costing you anything. And what do we have now? We have an entirely different. Oh, fuck. What if I shut off? If I shut off the camera, do I get more? Do I get more bandwidth? Does it reduce the fucking load on the software in any way? Doesn't want to do that. Wow. Oh, this is even worse. I'm putting myself in a worse situation than I was in prior to this. Um, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So what do I do? So what do I do? So what do I fucking do? Because I'm not getting the. Am I gonna help? What? Why would this just fucking? It whole thing dragged me in. It tricked me. Um, what is that? Can I? That tells me nothing. That does nothing for me. And I cannot fucking get access to. Oh, this fucking sucks. What is the fucking point of doing the show if I can't show all my anti-Semitic content? Um, well, I got the mic back. And do I have the rest of me back? So what do I do? What do I fucking do here to make this to be able to fucking continue? Oh my god, this sucks. Yeah. I'm so not happy with this. I'm still blaming StreamYard because I don't know. At this point, I don't know what else to fucking do. So I had a bunch of videos. Now I have to describe the fucking videos that I had. Both Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos recently did interviews with Candace Owens. I had a ton of Candace Owens stuff tonight. And so I was like, holy shit, Agent Catboy and Jungle Milk are back. And, you know, they're only brought out, you remember they sabotaged Kanye when Kanye was noticing elite power. And the difference, of course, is that Kanye's really not that smart of a guy. And Candace Owens, once she's married to a rich dude, she's married to like a super rich guy. I think a French guy that's worth like $200 million. And she just had a couple of kids, or one kid, or two kids, or I don't know how many kids she had. She's not a dopey fucking rock star like Kanye is. And so I don't think they're going to have quite the same effect. I don't know what they can do. Like, you remember when Kanye started talking about the Jews, out of fucking nowhere, he got bookended by Nick Fuentes and fucking Milo, who were flying with him on his private jet and blah, 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 all this other shit. And you got to wonder how that happens, like how they put them in their orbit. You know what I mean? They're so fucking, entertainment is so controlled by the fucking intel agencies. And I had a nice video of Larry Ellison, the 8th richest Jew in the world, who is the CEO of Oracle Corporation, which is a CIA-funded database corporation. And his son just bought a Hollywood production studio, something. I don't know. Anyway, and how Larry Ellison is controlling, he controls TikTok because TikTok servers are run on Oracle's. TikTok software runs on Oracle servers. And anyway, Larry Ellison's son just bought a fucking movie studio. And so he, you know, do you think that Larry Ellison is going to have influence over what gets shown in those fucking movies? Well, of course. And the other thing is that the Nick Fuentes is bitching about Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. And he did a video and they cartoonified it. They made the whole thing animated, which makes it more appealing to kids. And I'm like, you know, as I sit there thinking, like, you gotta know somebody's a fed because Nick Fuentes has been crying from his parents' basement for fucking 8 years about whatever, and he has no visible means of support. Say what you will about me, people literally know, they have watched me do my fucking job. You know how I support myself. So the fact that someone who lives in his mom's basement in Chicago can become Kanye's best friend out of the fucking blue, get into that inner circle and push everyone else away. You know, you got to wonder how that fucking happens. Like, well, you know, what is that mechanism? It's super interesting how they accomplish that. And they're slick at it. Believe me, they're slick at it. I was going to bookend that with a guy who's an Iraqi dude. He grew up in England. He does, he actually has a tourist company in Baghdad. And he speaks perfect English, but he plays like a dumb Arab. He's like, look, where is me? Look what my eye is seeing. You know, and he plays like a dum-dum, but he noticed that there was a guy, and I don't have the dude's name because I don't have the fucking video. There's a photo of Osama bin Laden with an advisor. There's some short little dude that's an advisor to Osama bin Laden. And this was back when Osama was in the fucking caves of Afghanistan. Well, that same advisor, believe it or not, is now the advisor to the new interim president of Syria. You know, and so don't think that the CIA is not skillful. I mean, it's more than just putting two queers on either side of Kanye West. Whoever that advisor is, the Osama bin Laden bro, and I can't remember the guy's name. He is now glued to the interim president of Syria, who used to be an ISIS guy, right? ISIS or Al Qaeda guy. So it's everything just repeats itself and repeats itself. Just put a little space between this image and that. When I don't mean space, I mean time between this image and that image, and everybody forgets. But every now and then, or more and more, I should say, people are looking in the background of things. And I had some video with Tucker Carlson talking to some dude, and he was talking about the Luigi Mangione case, right? Which still I think has no trial date, which is I thought it was supposed to be end of this year. But this guy's talking about the evidence of Luigi Mangione. So what he's talking about is the video, right? And he says the first video we see, he says you just see the gunman. I'll get out my fake gun. He says you just see the gunman with the hoodie, and you don't see the guy he's shooting is way down the street. You don't. There's no. He's out of focus. He's far away. The focus of the video of the movie is entirely on the gun. He says, and then the second image you see is a partial face of the gunman, where they tell you he's in a hostel. He's staying in a hostel, and he would get coffee at the local Starbucks, and he was flirting with the female barista clerk behind the counter. And you see like a partial face. And so they're building this narrative of who's the shooter. Oh, look, he's some handsome guy flirting with a girl, and blah blah, and on and on until they catch, they arrest Luigi, and it just happens to have the gun with him in fucking McDonald's, Pennsylvania, blah blah blah. And the guy says, if you look at this like a movie narrative, this is crafted like a movie. This is how you open a film. And understanding that the deep state, Larry Ellison and his son, are experts in this, and that the deep state and entertainment is super intertwined. I showed that video where Jay-Z, the husband to Beyonce, the most popular singer in the universe right now, is controlled by a woman named Desiree Perez, who was a cocaine smuggler and who became an informant for the DEA. And she founded a company called Rock Nation, ROC, not whatever. You have to spell it. They have to spell it in the ghetto fashion. Rock Nation. She controls that, and now Rock Nation is going to open supposedly going to get a license to open a casino in Midtown Manhattan, in Times Square. All this shit and all this money is fucking, it's just being pumped out by the deep state in all sorts of ways. And unless you look in the background of things, you're not going to see it, right? And you're just going to look at what's presented on the screen. And they want to tell you, look, the shooter, this is Luigi Mangione. Look, you don't see any face, but they tell you who it is. And then they go, look at this. Here's half of a face, and you can't recognize anything, but they tell you who it is. And that's how they lead the story. That's how they do this. And their resources are fucking enormous. There's a woman. That was a story I had. A woman named Barry Weiss. She's Jewish. Imagine that. She went to fucking Harvard Journalism School or something like that. She dropped out of Harvard and she started a blog. What the fuck did she call it? The Free Press. The Free Press. And it's got a YouTube page where the videos get like 6,000 views, 8,000 views. Like nobody watches this. But she went from Harvard to the New York Times for like 6 months. Then she opened her own fucking multimedia company. And now she's selling that company. Someone has valued that company at $250 million. And she's going to sell that to CBS Networks. And the point is, Larry Ellison can give his son money to buy a fucking movie studio. Somebody picks Barry Weiss out of fucking nowhere, gives her a job at the New York Times for 6 months. New York Times, which has the picture of fucking Theodore Herzl as Moses leading the Jews to the Promised Land. up on their fucking wall. Look in the background, always look in the background of this shit. And people don't do that. That's why I tell you, I've said before, you gotta watch these fucking videos over and over and over. There's the one thing that catches your eye, and that's what everyone focuses on. But you watch it again, and then you look here, and then you look there, and then you look here, and you look there, and like, does that background make sense? What's going on? There's a lot of things to be learned there, especially today, because you can stop, pause, and screenshot things and go, hey, what's that? Hey, what's that? Very few people are doing it, and the ones that are doing it, of course, going to be dismissed as fucking mentally ill. But that's what you have to fucking do. And these video narratives and the fucking algorithm spitting at you all the time is going to make it very tough for you to figure shit out. And the only thing you really have to understand is that this world is propped up by fiat currency. It's propped up by money created out of thin air, and that has to end. And you can have a role in ending if you want. I mean, if you're really hoping for fucking things still frozen. If you're really hoping for fucking, I was hoping like, oh, I'll talk for 10 minutes, and then the fucking the screen shares will work again, but nothing wants to work. Nothing, fucking nothing wants to work. Oh, I'm so pissed. You know, you can hope that somebody knocks on your door with 2 suitcases full of money and says you can still be a gay communist. You just have to fucking love Israel. But that's not going to happen. You're more likely to die starving and homeless in a cardboard box, waiting for Hitler to come fucking rescue you or somebody else, and that's not going to happen, right? You have to be an active participant in your own rescue. That's it. You know, and if you want to succeed in the current system, which might last another, I don't know how long it lasts. You know what to do. To be honest, you know what to do. You know whose boots you got to lick. You know what causes you have to promote. And then you're likely to fucking succeed. You're more likely to succeed. And you really want to push that, because AI is going to get rid of you're going to get rid of all the fucking white collar jobs. You know, your impressive job that you got from going to college, that's going away. I think the IBM Corporation, which is still around, believe it or not, fucking dinosaur from back in the day, they replaced their entire human resources department with AI, and they saved like $3 billion. If IBM, which is a fucking not a tech savvy fucking company, can do that, everybody else is gonna do that sooner or later. And then where you're gonna find yourself? You're gonna be driving a fucking Amazon delivery truck, or you're gonna be doing DoorDash or whatever. And all the fairy tales that you're told to believe in, you're not gonna believe. I had a video of Trump claiming that the Epstein thing was a plot by the Democrats, because he's playing red team, blue team, trying to get a support back. Oh, this is like the Russia dossier, blah 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 blah. But nobody's buying it, and there was they're floating. The Trump administration is floating the idea of talking to Joe Rogan. If you don't know who Joe Rogan is, you need to watch the UFC. He's a color commentator for the UFC, and he's the biggest podcaster in the world. He's a little midget who smokes weed and does taekwondo, some bullshit martial art which doesn't actually work. But it's a super popular dude, Joe Rogan. And the Trump administration wants to talk to Joe Rogan about the Epstein files. They're losing the messaging battle really badly, and they're running to the UFC, running to mixed martial arts to fucking to try and spin this, try and get people focused on something else. And I don't think it's going to work. But the thing about the tourists at the beach in Thailand kicking out the Israelis, the Greeks, Israel having to evacuate their embassy in Athens, and all the rest is they're fighting fires. They're like everybody. They are. They're losing on every fucking front, and they're more and more desperate. And they're gonna do more and more shit. Now I don't think they're close to losing. I don't think they're close to losing at all. But they're getting super busy with the spin control and trying to get people back in line, and people don't want to get back in line because they don't want their kids raped. Surprise, surprise. Joe and Jane Average in small town America don't want their kids raped. They don't want their kids going to fucking gay pride parades. You know what I mean? The kids that there was a video I showed or a screen share of like some teenagers. They they took their e-bikes and they did donuts on the fucking rainbow flag somewhere, and now the police are fucking hunting them down in Georgia or in Atlanta. You know, a couple of kids on their bicycles are like offended by all this gay shit, and they kind of act out. They don't destroy any private property, but they don't like public displays of homosexuality, and the police are hunting them down. Hopefully, uh, that doesn't, you know, they don't get arrested. But the article mentioned that of this hate crime that these two 13-year-old kids did on their bicycles is a priority, while Atlanta, the city of Atlanta in America, has 1,600 unsolved homicides. What resources get spent doing what, right, is decided by the bootlickers, right? People who bootlick the central bankers. And you aren't going to change that, you know? You're not going to change that with your noticing and your unity calling and your subtly nuanced critique of neoliberal democracy, whatever the fuck, whatever dumb fucking gay shit that you engage in. There's no amount of marching in the streets going to fucking change it, you know? That's just not going to happen. So, what else was I going to say? I'm actually keeping a fairly good track of what videos I had. The other thing about looking in the background, Candace Owens talking with Tucker Carlson about Emmanuel Macron, the Prime Minister of France, who's married to a man. He was a boy that was raped by this guy back in the day. This guy was born a man, transitioned to a woman, and Brigitte Macron is really a different guy. He's called whatever. He's a dude, right? It's Big Mike, French version. And she got into all this. And the reason why Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos are now looking to take down Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, both of them are flawed individuals, but they're being too successful. And you don't send Catboy and Jungle Milk out, you know, for the low level fucking targets. The fact that more people are paying attention to Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and the stuff that they're talking about means the narrative is spinning out of control, and you got to try and control it. And like I said, I don't think either with Tucker Carlson, who says he knows the CIA plants kiddie porn on people's computers. That's why he doesn't have a computer in his house. And Candace Owens, who's married to some rich French dude, and you can't touch her because her husband's worth $200 million. You know, you can't make her starving and homeless. What are you going to do? Like, how do you silence her? Like, she's not Kanye, right? They can't Kanye Candace Owens. She's too smart for that, and they can't get access to her, right? Two gay guys, Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos. What the fuck? What phony connection can they dream up to spend time with a woman who has a husband and two small children? Like, you don't belong there. So I don't see them succeeding with that at all. And I don't know. The other thing Candace Owens says is that her series, she did a whole series on President Macron is married to a man. It's exploded in China. The Chinese are watching this by the millions, and she says, I don't even know how they're watching it, because she said, I only released it on YouTube, and then YouTube is banned in China. But the Chinese are watching Kansas by the millions. The narrative's spinning out of their control, and I don't think that they have a good way to lock it down. The other thing, in terms of looking in the background of pictures, the official photograph of the Prime Minister of France, he's leaning back against his desk and whatever, and there's a book. You can see the spine of a book. You can see the spine of a book, and the spine of the book is a book written by a guy who was a pedophile and who used to go to Algeria and Morocco to molest Arab boys in North Africa. And the looking in the background of things is what they don't want you to do. They want you to focus on the narrative that they're spinning, like the narrative of Luigi. It's a hooded gunman. We don't know who it is. Oh, look, here's a partial reveal. Oh, oh, look, we grabbed this guy, and he looks sort of like the partial, and he's got the weapon above him. Like all of this. This is how you lead people, and they're losing control of that to nobodies, people who are saying the wrong things and asking the wrong questions, and that's a beautiful thing to see. The more resources they have to spend to maintain control of that. Oh, and the other thing was the dude talking about central banking, and even I didn't know this one. This is fucking nuts. The Reichsbank of World War One, the Bank of Germany, was a privately owned bank. There's a surprise, and it was run by a guy named like Max Warburg. I don't know if his name was Max Warburg, whatever Warburg. And the Federal Reserve Bank, one of the founders of the Federal Reserve Bank, was named Paul Warburg. And that's not a coincidence because they were brothers. So during World War One, the Central Bank of Germany was controlled by one guy, and the Central Bank of America was controlled by his brother. This shit goes way deep. It's more than a century old in America, and you're not going to beat it doing what you're doing. So let them try and suppress Tucker and Candace and whoever else there is out there. Let them try and work that narrative, but in the meantime, rather than just farm outrage and try to get you to commit a terrorism or a racism or an anti-Semitism, what I would tell you to do is to remember that all of this is a construct of and is funded by the people who control the incentives. And those incentives are very perverted and twisted, right? Those are the incentives of central banking. And the sooner central banking is ended, the better off everyone. And the way that happens is you have to build something. And it's tough to build. It's slow and it's hard and it's fucking tough. You have to build something that they don't own, they don't control, and they can't stop. That thing, kids, is Bitcoin. Oh, it's still totally fucking frozen. Oh, I'm so pissed. I'm so angry with StreamYard for doing this. But anyway, with that, well, I managed to get 55 minutes out of this. I managed to get 55 minutes out of this. So did I get everything? I think I got everything. I don't know now. I'm like out of my fucking off the top of my head. Off the top of my head. But anyway, to the one viewer I do know I have, Virgil Dog Purple Heart, you're an absolute trooper, sir. You, sir, are a trooper for showing up and dealing with all the issues, the tech issues, my poor memory, my cheap ass fucking Android 10 phone, which doesn't adapt quickly to the StreamYard upgrades, all of the problems you have to overcome. You have to put one foot from the other and keep marching forward towards a world without central banking that we will get rid of peacefully and legally. Peacefully and legally. And by the way, Bitcoin is, I don't know, we're back near 119K. So I was in the video I had the video of some dudes much smarter than me. The dude who was on Joe Rogan, this is when Bitcoin was like 17,000. He's got his mustache and he's like, what's Bitcoin at now? 16,000? It's got another 17,000 to drop, and this is a couple of years ago. So I love all you, and I had some fucking great videos of people going, I don't understand Bitcoin, but you're wrong about it. Some funny shit, which I will show next week. Fingers crossed. I'm gonna have to reduce this down to a handful of fucking things because unless StreamYard figures out how to make this fucking unless they figure out how to make the software work better. It's just absolutely frozen. Yeah, so everyone that thinks they know doesn't know, right? Make a good plan today, which is trade your government money for Bitcoin, is better than a perfect plan next week. And you have to save yourself. No one's coming to save you. And that, as scary as it sounds, on the other side of that is a lot of freedom. Anyway, with that, Virgil Dark Purple Heart, everyone that's going to come in the coming week and watch the show, hopefully a few of you smash up the like button. And you Rumble people, I will be saving this recording and uploading it to Rumble in a minute. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you guys again next week.